Peace and love, everyone. As you know, my way doesn't have to be your way. I'm just another window to see through. It's been heavy on my spirit lately to put videos out that's focusing on mental health through in any way, shape, or form, through experience. Put something out there that can hopefully be beneficial to someone to gain a peace of mind, maintain a peace of mind, avoid stress, be more stress-free, and any little avenue that I've took along my journey that helped me become more of a protector of my peace I've been putting out. But this one here was a very key component, and that's having the mentality of a counterpuncher and how boxing is very similar to life. I remember growing up, I believe it stemmed from ever since I can remember being aware of life, I was always being attacked from many different angles. And so with that happening, the cause and the effect, I believe that I developed a mindset that I had to protect myself for things that come my way. And so I remember some of my very favorite times were when the grown folks got together, eat, drink, and be merry, fight get-togethers, when the fighters were coming into the ring, the energy, the excitement, the let's get ready to rumble, and seeing two fighters who achieved their goals and dreams, putting their whole skill set, all the hard work and dedication in that squared circle against their opponent. But I noticed something. Most fighters had similar styles. They were basic, straight up and down, no special effects. They were lined up straight, swinging for the fences. But I found myself being more attracted to the boxers who could perform the art of hit and not get hit. When punches were coming at them, knowing when to bob, weave, slip punches, and come back with something. And I took that, and I thought that was very similar to life and just the whole sport. How in boxing, it was a fight. In life is a fight. I don't know about you, but myself included, I know many people who it's a daily battle to maintain our peace, to maintain our sanity, to have self-control, to slow our anger, to be slow to anger when someone crosses our line. And this is very similar to boxing, to when knowing when to turn it on and turn it off, knowing when to retreat, knowing when you're hurt or you're tired, to preserve your energy, when to press forward, when all very similar. Another thing in boxing is where there are 12 rounds in a prize fight. And in boxing, there are in life, there are 12 months in a year. And within that year, you have 4 seasons. And within those seasons, you have trials and tribulations, ups and downs, peaks and valleys, wins and losses, and many things coming at you that could be similar to punches. A right hook, issues on the job, an uppercut, a loss of a job, tickets, car issues, whatever it may be. And then you got getting hit with combinations. It could be death in the family, funerals, losses, but really could be blessing in disguise into lessons, low blows. That could be infidelity, unfaithfulness, being stole from, friends and family painting a false narrative out there to almost to recruit others to dislike you and to assassinate your character, all stem from lies. Those are the low blows. And all these are like punches, but through experience. And as you get older, you know how to weave and duck and dodge and even avoid these punches. Or even when you do get hit, knowing how to absorb it. Knowing when you get hit in days, knowing how to keep fighting through. Knowing when you get knocked down, getting back up. You notice how in boxing, when a fighter's going into the ring or is into the ring, he's even keel. Not too high, not too low. And in life, you understand, those are the seasoned fighters, the veterans with experience. And some of the old school cats who've been there and done that same thing, even keel, not too high, not too low. That's years of life experience. No one had to deal with things that come our way. But boxing, that's years of being in sparring, in fights, fighting through adversity, knowing to fight through pain, to persevere. knowing the boxer and the old school cat, they know that if you get too big-headed and too cocky or get too high, you can be humbled and just in a wink of an eye be dropped down. But then whenever you're down, you can't stay down too long, because you know you have many things to be blessed. Count your blessings and be thankful for it, which brings you back up. And so you're in the middle, not too high, not too low, even keel. Boxing similar to life. And so another thing that have boxing is similar to life is how you can't judge a boxer, judge a book by its cover. You can't go off a look. Same thing in life. You never know who has that dog in them, who has that fight in them, who's capable of what. But another thing with the counterpuncher that I applied is that I took that. So I always found myself growing up like just shadow boxing, slipping punches. And people would be like, man, you do that a lot. And it wasn't a physical thing of me wanting to fight physically. That's the last thing I want to do. I want people to win. I want people to prosper and be healthy, especially the deserving ones. What it was is, it was a mental fight, a spiritual fight. Because remember, since the time I was being able to wear it coming up, it's like it developed a discernment of knowing, feeling things around me and energies and spirits on people. And so it's almost like if we could put on a pair of glasses and see what God sees, it's like we would see the invisible war between good and evil. And so in my mind, when I'm just shadow boxing and hitting the air and bobbing and weaving, I'm sending a message to the evil spirit that with me it was going to be a fight. And it wasn't going to be easy with me. And I don't plan on losing. So it was psychological. It was mental chess. But I applied the counterpunching to circumstances in life. That, for an example, here's the counterpunches. You growing up, and there was times where you had very little money. So here's the counterpunch. I got to turn nothing into something. I got to use my imagination. I can turn pain into a negative, into a positive. Contain that misery into comedy, into laughter. Having very little, you find yourself being appreciative of the very small things. And that's the counter. And so you find yourself, as you get older, being thankful for the smallest of things. That's a counter. You can be in a room, an empty room, and still have a good time and be good because you can use your imagination. That's the counter. You can turn pain into comedy, into laughter. That was the counter. And before you know it, if I was having a bad day, I found myself to counter, I'm going to make somebody else's day. And before you know it, you're having yourself a better day. That was the counter. I remember at a high school, I had an apartment. I had a few weeks to come up with rent, bills, and I didn't have no options. I didn't have no money. I was out of a job. How am I going to make this happen? So my counter was, I'm going to give the little things that I do have. I'm going to give. I need, but I'm going to give. Then you find out that when you give, you shall receive. What you put out, you get back. You reap what you sow. And I end up having all my needs met and then some sevenfold. But the key was to do it from your heart. And your heart is what's very similar to boxing in life. How's your heart built? You gonna give up? Are you gonna give up? Give in? That was the counter. When somebody was hating, I might return it with love to let that evil spirit know that you can't handle me. Because it's a chess. It's a game of chess. That was the counter. And so I just use these counters when things of life, if all these things of life are coming at us, being able to duck, dodge, bob, and weave, know how to avoid it, and even know how to react after being hit. Another main thing in boxing is, the thing about boxing is, you win or you lose. In life, you can't lose as long as you don't throw in the towel. Keep pressing forward. Keep fighting a good fight. And have that mental, gain that mental to be a counterpuncher when things come our way that can bring us punishment, which all connecting to mental health. Peace and love.